ICC T20 World Cup 2024 All Teams Schedule. On June 2024, USA vs Canada. 2 June 2024, West Indies vs Papua New Guinea. 2 June 2024, Namibia vs Oman. 3 June, Sri Lanka vs South Africa. 3 June, Afghanistan vs Uganda. 4 June, England vs Scotland. 4 June, Netherlands vs Nepal. 5 June, India vs Ireland. 5 June, Papua New Guinea vs Uganda. 5 June, Australia vs Oman. 6 June, USA vs Pakistan. 6 June, Namibia vs Scotland. 7 June, Canada vs Ireland. 7 June, New Zealand vs Afghanistan. 7 June, Sri Lanka vs Bangladesh. 8 June, Netherlands vs South Africa. 8 June, Australia vs England. 8 June, West Indies vs Uganda. 9 June, India vs Pakistan. 9 June, Oman vs Scotland. 10 June, South Africa vs Bangladesh. 11 June, Pakistan vs Canada. 11 June, Sri Lanka vs Nepal. 11 June, Australia vs Namibia. 12 June, USA vs India. 12 June, West Indies vs New Zealand. 13 June, England vs Oman. 13 June, Bangladesh vs Netherlands. 13 June, Afghanistan vs Papua New Guinea. 14 June, USA vs Ireland. 14 June, South Africa vs Nepal. 14 June, New Zealand vs Uganda. 15 June, India vs Canada. 15 June, Namibia vs England. 15 June, Australia vs Scotland. 16 June, Pakistan vs Ireland. 16 June, Bangladesh vs Nepal. 16 June, Sri Lanka vs Netherlands. 17 June, New Zealand vs Papua New Guinea. 17 June, West Indies vs Afghanistan. 19 June, A2 vs D1. 19 June, B1 vs C2. 20 June, C1 vs A1. 20 June, B2 vs D2. 21 June, B1 vs D1. 21 June, A2 vs C2. 22 June, A1 vs D2. 22 June, C1 vs B2. 23 June, A2 vs B1. 23 June, C2 vs D1. 24 June, B2 vs A1. 24 June, C1 vs D2. 26 June, semifinal 1. 27 June, semifinal 2. 29 June, the final.